of Snowman in the morning. You can hear me every morning on Arena Sportsnet, Full Press Radio, KSRN Arizona, and Western Reserve Digital Radio. And for those of you that love to watch the action, you can hear me live on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. The number you need is 773-672-3208. That's 773-672-3208. Drop that email to snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com with your suggestions, as well as a chance to advertise during this wonderful program. And every day at 3 o'clock Eastern and beyond, you can pick up the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or your favorite listening app. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook. The ID you need is at SIT Morning. And on Instagram, you need the full ID, Snowman in the Morning. Good morning, folks. Glad to be with you on this Thursday morning. Lots to get to, lots to talk about, including Major League Baseball Gold Glove winners. Those Gold Glove winners were handed out a couple of days ago. I'll have Ian Glendon at 25 after the first hour. And at 40 after, I'll talk Major League Baseball Gold Glove winners. Have a preview for Thursday Night Football, Chargers and Raiders from Oakland. And during hour 2, I welcome my good buddy Andy Dorf of the Dorf on Sports Weekend Edition. He'll join me during hour 2. You see adjustments being made on the video feed. We're getting everything together. I don't have a back screen as of yet. I hope to have one soon, very soon. You can tweet the show at SIT Morning at any time, or you can ring us up at 773-672-3208. That's the number that you need. And also, and I didn't build this graphic yet, but I will. Also, you can drop a donation to the show as well, or become a monthly patron. That patron page is live, and that is where you will see a lot of exclusive footage. You know, me getting ready for the show, my lovely Dr. K helping me get ready for the show. You know, just making sure everything is good and getting some extra stuff out to the fans. You know, I'm starting to figure all this out, how I need to do it. I'm sorry for that infernal hum. I've been working on my equipment. I got a good buddy of mine that pointed me to a place to get some great equipment so the sound can always improve for you guys. You know what's on tap for today? You see the video feed. It's doing great right now. I finally made the adjustments at the suggestion of Dr. K, my wonderful engineer. My buddy Shane Lake, who is my uber super producer, taking things in as well. He usually helps line up the show for me on what to talk about, what to gab about, and all that good stuff. The great guests that I have coming on, and the guests are going to get better because there's a couple of people that I'm in negotiations with that'll help bring some greater guests on to talk some sports with me. Let me thank Charles Wallard, who came on Monday, some sports and some music with me. I plan to have him on to talk the plight of the Jets. I think take care of those things have been resolved and taken care of, and now I'm ready to be with you guys every weekday to bring you the absolute best in sports talk. And I'm monitoring my video feed, so that's why you see me looking over here to the side. Ready to bring you the best in sports talk on a daily basis. The hot news, the hot takes, and Lord knows I have some hot takes. Y'all know I have some hot takes. I got a couple up my sleeve, and we're going to take a break here in a couple of minutes. And then after that, I'll have a preview of Thursday Night Football, the Chargers and the Raiders. But I can tell you, and I can't wait to have Mike Debate on tomorrow, but that's tomorrow, to talk the juiciest matchup of the week. We're going to do a deep dive into the battle in the Bay. That's the Seahawks and the 49ers, the undefeated 49ers. They're 8-0, but they're going to get one hell. And you're hearing this from me. I'm an ardent 49er fan. Been that way since 81. You're hearing this from me. I may be a fan, but I'm also a realist. The 49ers are going to get one hell of a test from Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. I pick up my friend Philip Robinson all the time saying, nope, I'm not going to acknowledge the greatness of Russell Wilson. Why should I? Well, because he's been balling out of his mind, number one. Number two, if I had to pick an MVP, I will be very honest with you guys. If I had to pick an MVP right now, it would be Russell Wilson. He's been playing out of his mind. And that Seattle offense is now an offense. They've always had to rely on their defense to get them through many games. Now they're relying on their offense, and it's working. But Seattle's going to get a test in return from this ferocious 49er defense. And I mean, these guys are absolutely ferocious. Okay? That'll all be tomorrow. But when I look at I'm going to save this for after the break, but I'll give you a little tease right now. When I look at the Raiders and the Chargers, even though the Chargers are in Los Angeles and they shouldn't be, they should be in San Diego, and many of you will agree. It's still it's Raider week, and to the Raiders, it's Chargers week. These two teams have never liked each other over the years. I just wish they would be. I just wish the Raiders would stay in Oakland. We know they're moving to Las Vegas. I just wish they would stay in Oakland, number one. And number two, I also wish that the Chargers would have stayed in San Diego. There's just so much more of a benefit for them, but we all know what happened with that and why they are not in San Diego and all that kind of stuff. I'll do that after the break. We got a break coming up. Remember, you can call the show at any time, 773-672-3208. Tweet the show at SIT Morning. And coming up next, I will take a deep dive into the Thursday Night Football match. It's going to be a good one. The 4-5 Chargers against the 4-4 Raiders. And as a favorite for the Red Velvet Cookie Crumble, you won't believe these cookies are gluten-free. That's right. I said it, gluten-free. Visit yeahthosecookies.com for information. Yeah, those cookies. Can't stop eating. Yum. Catch the podcast. You have the feeling this is going to be a good one. Snowman in the morning, back in a flash.
This is Mario Andretti. Me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. As a volunteer, you deliver a hot, nutritious meal and a friendly hello to someone just like your mother, grandfather, or next-door neighbor. These seniors are inspiring people with incredible stories to share, and they love to see you. The smiles you get back are priceless. Delivering with Meals on Wheels is easy, and you don't have to drive like me for it to. You can volunteer your lunch just once a month. With 1 in 6 seniors facing hunger and many more living in isolation, your lunch break can make a real difference. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and Council.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds, and most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
We rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full story of someone who
had to be independent.
Ways to develop great talent at gradsoflife.org. Brought to you by Grads of Life and the Ad Council.
Driving means
freedom,
exploration,
fun,
pride,
flexibility,
protection,
friendship,
escape,
independence.
Distracted driving means
danger,
irresponsible,
chaos,
police,
devastation,
injury,
tears, death.
Safe driving means staying alert and staying alive.
Visit StopTextStop.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Some energy drinks want to scare you. Some even want to bully you around. And the others, they're just blowing smoke. Packed with vitamins B3, B5, B6, and B12, the new HiQ energy drink comes available in 4 exciting flavors. Strawberry Fusion, Apple, Coconut Fruit Punch, and Lemon Lime. Natural caffeine, no preservatives, no crash, no bull. HiQ energy drink, wings for birds.
This is Snowman in the Morning.
Off we go. And we continue on this Thursday edition of Snowman in the Morning, presented by Those Cookies. Can't stop eating. Yum. Well, it's Thursday night, and it's Thursday night football. The Chargers at the Raiders. That'll be 8 p.m. tonight on Fox. Joe Buck and company will have the call. Well, it's the Chargers and the Raiders. And looking at these two, the Chargers 5 on the year. Their 5 losses have come by 1 possession. Think about that. All 5 of the losses have come by 1 possession, which basically means they've been in every single game this year. Every single game. Raiders have allowed 20-plus points since 2018 in 22 of their 24 games. That's wild. And the Raider rookies have scored 11 touchdowns this season, the most in the NFL. As mentioned, the Chargers' 5 losses have each come by 1 possession. But now the Raiders' offense has been in high gear because they've scored 24 points in 5 games. 5 straight games. How about that? 5 straight games. This is going to be a fun one. You're looking at the Raiders offense, the Chargers offense. They average 361 yards a game. Raiders 381.6. Passing yards in favor of the Chargers, 281.3 to 245.3, and I'm reading these stats off of NFL.com. The Raiders have more of an impact rushing, 136.4 to 79.4. And remember, Melvin Gordon just got in the Chargers lineup, and he had an impact last Sunday in the win over the Packers. Oakland averages 22.8 points per game. The Chargers are at 20.3. And again to mention, the Chargers' last 5 games have been their 5 losses this year. I beg your pardon. Have been decided by 1 possession or less, or 1 possession. 1 possession losses. That tells you you have a team that's on the verge of getting into of being basically either 8-1, 9-0. You know, but what's interesting for me about the Chargers is that they've been up and down, which is evidenced by the 4-5 record. You know, if they had any kind of consistency like they did last year, they had any kind of consistency at all, I'd venture to say they'd be undefeated because this offense knows how to put points on the board. They know how to put points on the board. And with them having the Raiders on their docket, the Raiders on their docket this week, you would think it would be a chance for the Chargers to put up some points against the Raiders. And looking at this also, the Raiders have allowed 11 passing touchdowns in their last 3 games. Let me read that again. The Raiders have allowed 11 passing touchdowns. 11 in their last 3 games. Mike Williams, receiver for the Chargers, had the most targets in the NFL without a touchdown. Figure that one out. And as I mentioned, the Raiders have scored 24-plus points in 5 straight games, including 31 against the Lions last week. Let's look at the tail of the tape. In offense, the Chargers are 9th in the league. The Raiders are at 17th. Defense, both these teams just about the middle of the pack. The Chargers are at 16th overall. The Raiders are at 21st overall. In terms of passing, the Chargers are 3rd in the league, and the Raiders are at 19th. And rushing, this is where the numbers flip. The Chargers are 26th on the year, and the Raiders are 9th in rushing. Last time these two teams played in Oakland was November 11th of last year, and the Chargers won that game 20-6 in the midst of a season-long struggle for the Raiders and in the midst of the Chargers getting to the playoffs. I'll tell you what, this is going to be a hell of a lot of fun. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. Chargers and Raiders tonight 8 p.m. on. Now, I haven't done something in a week, and I never gave myself a chance to. And I'm making it, I'm trying to make this a habit of having having these rankings up there. I didn't do it last week, never gave myself a chance to. And when you hear that music in the background, y'all are familiar with NFL primetime. Got to give the credit where the credit is due. When you hear that, it's time for Snowman's NFL Top 5. Didn't do this last week. I'll have a chance to do it now. And there is a switch at the top spot. Get into that in a moment. At number 5 is the Baltimore Ravens. Their win over the defending Super Bowl champion New England Patriots exposed some things in the Patriots defense, but also Baltimore on the map with their RPOs, and Lamar Jackson can run that offense. When they switched to Lamar Jackson at quarterback, they made the right decision. The Ravens at number 5. At number 4, the Seattle Seahawks. They're going to get a hell of a test Monday night against the undefeated 49ers, but Russell Wilson is balling out of his mind. He rescued the Seahawks last Sunday against Tampa Bay, got them an overtime win at 40-34, and the Seahawks 6-2 on the year. They trail the 49ers by a game and a half, but this is a big game because not only is it a game on the schedule, game within their division. So the Seahawks have a chance to make a statement in the Bay. Seahawks at number 4. At number 3, the defending champion New England Patriots, and the reason they took a tumble out of the top spot, their loss to Baltimore, which is possibly a playoff matchup in the future. These two teams, the Patriots and the Ravens, could see each other in January. In fact, I expect it the way these two teams are playing. You got Tom Brady and company, okay? That's the definition of the New England right there, all right? Now, the Patriots are going to find out what, with their back end of the schedule coming up, they're going to find out what kind of team they have. And it's going to be a competitive one, and they're still going to rule the NFC East. Patriots number 3. At number 2, it's the New Orleans. Teddy Bridgewater did his job. Drew Brees had done his, and the Saints are back in action this weekend, and they have a chance to get that offense going. But I'll point out something that was said on another show. They don't have an over-the-top game. You would love to have seen them get Josh Gordon and really improve their passing game. But Drew Brees is Drew Brees, 400 yards, and the Saints are still going to win. And they got some juicy matchups coming up later on in the season as well. New Orleans at number 2. My number 1 team is my beloved team, the San Francisco 49ers. Defense, offense, special teams, everything has worked for the 49ers this year. They're going to get a great test Monday night when they play the Seattle Seahawks in Santa Clara at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara. They're going to get a whale of a test, but that team come together. They're playing with a lot of house money right now. So, and no one expected them to get more than 8. They may get that Monday night when they get win number 9 over Seattle. My top 5 teams. It's Baltimore at number 5. Number 4 is Seattle. Number 3 is New England. Number 2 is New Orleans. And at number 1, the San Francisco 49ers. Who is in your top 5? Who is in your top 5? Tweet the show at SIT Morning and use the hashtag SITM NFL Top 5. Coming up next, Ian Glendon will join me to talk a few things. And yes, we're going to take some shots at LeBron in the process. Don't forget, you can catch the podcast every day at 3 p.m. Eastern after the show is complete on your favorite listening app, including Spotify, including Radio Breaker, including Spreaker, all that good stuff. Got to take a break. When we come back, Ian Glendon will join me. Snowman in the morning, back in a flash.
Some energy drinks want to scare you. Some want to bully you around. And the others, they're just blowing smoke. Packed with B3, B5, B6, and B12, the new Haidu energy drink comes available in 4 exciting flavors. Skyberry Fusion, apple, coconut fruit punch, and lemon lime. Natural caffeine, no preservatives, no crash, no bull. High-Q energy drink. Wings are for birds.
This show is sponsored by Unforgettables. Unforgettables creates detailed hand-painted baseballs for every baseball fan. Check them out at unforgettables.com.
Okay, men, time to be an all-star caregiver. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments, be there emotionally and physically. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. Tougher than tough. Find care guides at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
180 over 111 had a stroke. I couldn't speak or walk.
150 over 90, and I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure sounds like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a stroke are far from silent. Get back on your treatment plan or talk with your doctor to create a plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
I had this. Everything's changed.
Brought to you by the American Stroke Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
This is Snowman in the Morning, where true sport lives.
Thanks a lot, Don.
You got a brand, we got a place. Drop an email to snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. That's snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. Or you can give us a ring at 773-672-3208. And I want to welcome the fellow that's in charge of one of our streaming partners. In fact, our main streaming partner, Full Press Coverage. One of the men in charge is Ian Glendon, and he joins me right now. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, my friend. How are you doing?
How are you doing?
I just got my second injection of caffeine, and I'm doing pretty good right now. I'm not gonna lie. Energy.
Oh, that is great. We had our crossover yesterday on FPC Radio Live, and I really encourage y'all to check that out. It's a great show with Ian and Mike Debate. Both those guys joined me here on the show as well. Why are people so high on the Lakers being 6-1 in November when it ain't April yet? I gotta go there.
Because it's LeBron James, and anything that he does gets magnified, both by media and himself. So they're both to blame for it. But
yeah, man.
Like we know it's like if you're showboating in November talking about they put the NBA on notice, it's like, you know what, talk to me in February and then maybe we'll have a conversation.
Thank you. Talk to me after Christmas. Okay?
Exactly.
Talk to me after Christmas. Hell, talk to me after the trade deadline, because I put a bold prediction out there on your show yesterday, and it went like this. Anthony Davis is out of there by February. I just have this stupid feeling. Now, I'm going to acknowledge 90% of that could be wrong, but I'm feeling the Lakers are going to go through a downtime, and LeBron's going to repeat what he's always done. He's going to throw his entire team under the bus.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm not going to go as far as say that he's going to get traded by the deadline, but I certainly don't, I can't guarantee that this is some, long-term fruitful relationship, because again, we know what LeBron is. He's a great player who is despite what people want to tell you, is not the greatest of teammates. And, especially when things don't go well. When things are going well, I mean, he'll chest bump you and give you all the high fives and handshakes that you want, but get on his bad side, or the team starts to struggle.
It's over. We've seen it in Cleveland. We've seen it in Los Angeles. He finally got Anthony Davis, and Anthony Davis, I'll go ahead and say it, foolishly agreed to LeBron this season. Yeah, they're starting out fine, but remember, the season kicked off the third week in October. Kicked off before Halloween, which is something I'm not used to yet. But be that as it may, yeah, they're doing good at 6-1, and you said it yesterday. Got to give credit where credit is due. All right, done. Now, can we get on with the rest of the season, please, and let somebody else come out of the West that ain't the Lakers, please?
Well, I'm just waiting for it. To me, it's not a matter of if; it's a matter of when. I mean, like I said, I just don't. I don't see this sustain. Like we talked about it yesterday. I think Oakland has a lot of energy, and there's a lot of good reason for that. For one, obviously, he didn't have a long playoff run. Two, it helps that you get reinvigorated with a star player. But again, what happens when things go the way they're expected to be?
Exactly.
And it's like, I find it funny that people knock Kawhi Leonard for load management and everything. Guess what? LeBron may not take games off, but he doesn't play defense. So there's some load management for you right there. And, I'm going to bring up something you said on our show yesterday. You said, I don't want to, the blocks and everything like that, they're all well and good and flashy. And that doesn't say that you're playing great defense. That just says that, you tend to flash at those big important moments, but it doesn't mean you're playing good team defense or playing good defense in general. So for those knocking Kawhi about taking games off, well, like LeBron gets his load management in other places.
He gets his load management in every game when he doesn't play defense, and he doesn't play defense for most of the time or almost all the time that he's on the court anyway. So why do people get so? You know the question I'm trying to ask. Why? It's just he doesn't play defense. He never has played defense in 16 years. He's shown flashes of it, yes. But be that as it may, he just doesn't get it done when it needs to happen. He just doesn't.
Exactly. Here's the thing, and it's like we're not sitting here. I mean, we may be. I mean, who knows? But we're not sitting here trying to rip him because he plays bad. We're just trying to say, like, hey, this is who he's been. I mean, why are we trying to make him out to be this incredible defensive player? And again, this goes back to the whole Jordan LeBron debate. It's like, okay, there's a lot of things that separate the two, and one of the biggest things is how good Jordan was defensively.
Yes.
And to me, there's no question that he was a far superior defensive player. And again, that helps separate him. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why I think he's better than LeBron, but this is one of those reasons that for me it's strange because people want to sit there and try to say, oh, he's this incredible, defense. See those chase down blocks? Well, yeah. I mean, some of those it's like the scrambling quarterback. It's like, sometimes those plays come about because you're not good at reading things in the pocket, and you tend to take off and run far too quickly. And to your credit, you make the play at the end of the day, but it doesn't mean you're great or the best quarterback or best player. You know what I mean? So to me, it's just it's selective cheering when it comes to his defensive play. Unfortunately for him, the plays that he does make are flashy and highlight worthy. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. I mean, they are flashy, but again, that tends to mask a lot of the bigger issues.
It really does. It really does. Ian Glendon from Full Press Coverage joining me, talking all things that LeBron James ain't, that Michael Jordan is. You know something? I had a fan ask me who was a big-time LeBron James fan, so you got to take a shot.
Of course.
He's a big-time LeBron James fan, and he posed the question to me, name something that Michael Jordan has that LeBron James doesn't have. Okay, I'll take champion. He says, yeah, well, besides 6 rings, that's obvious.
Of course.
He also said to me, you have to do it with taking rings out of the equation. Okay, fine. There's something that Michael Jordan got in 1988 that LeBron doesn't have yet. It's called Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I'm still laughing because we get that I love that stipulation. Oh, don't include rings. Okay. Right. So let's not include one of the things that gives a certain player a distinct advantage over.
Very
okay, we're just going to ignore that whole aspect. and it's foolish because because then they're like, oh, it's kind of close, and I'm like, no, because now if you think about rings, well, no, it's not.
It really. Listen, I've also said this about the biggest difference between MJ and LeBron, and people don't want to look at it, especially social media fans today who think they know basketball, but they don't. If you look at the body of work between these two players, Michael Jordan had a progression to a champion. He had to go through Boston twice. He had to go through the Pistons 3 times. He had to go through Orlando on his return to the NBA. but there was always something that got in his way that he and his teammates had to figure out before they climbed the mountain. LeBron hasn't had that in 16 years.
Nope. And when the going got tough, he jumped ship. And look, within his right to choose to go to a different team.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about legacy and we're talking about the greatest player of all time, yes, that's an issue because that's, like you said, at the end of the day, Jordan went through those trials and tribulations with his team, and they overcame those eventually to do what they did. Sort of like what the Golden State Warriors did. Now they're looked at unfairly as a team that just built on buying superstars, which couldn't be further from the truth. But
exactly.
in LeBron's case, he couldn't do it. He wasn't making that progression with that team. They couldn't get over that Boston hump. He had to go to Miami with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh in their prime to be able. They weren't even capable of doing that in their first season. So, yeah, I'm right there with you when it comes to that. Look, normally you're not sitting here knocking a player for that, but if you're going to sit there and try to tell me that he's the greatest player of all time, then guess what? We're gonna have a conversation, and that's going to be part of it.
It is going to be part of it. I mean, you and I watch players go through their progression and get to a championship. Let's see, give you, I don't know, a fellow named Larry Bird joined the Boston Celtics, had to go through his progression to get to a title. Magic Johnson, of course, we mentioned Michael Jordan. Julius Erving had to do it in two separate leagues. Julius Erving had to do it twice. He carried the ABA to a title in 1976, and then he carried the Philadelphia 76ers to a title in 1983. So he had to do that twice over. Two different leagues. Okay? Shall I go down the list? David Robinson, Moby with the Lakers in the early 2000s. Where else do I go? Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars of the bad boy Detroit Pistons. We know the Bulls ran the 90s, 6 titles in 8 years. There is just no progression with some superstars anymore. Kawhi Leonard had to go through it. Stephen Curry, we all know, had to go through it. And on top of that, when Stephen Curry lost in the finals, he was unfairly, as well as his team, and you've seen this, put through the meat grinder of social media saying, oh, he's not clutch. Oh, yeah, he's the only unanimous MVP, and he's got 3 titles. What the hell has LeBron done with the scrutiny heaped upon him?
He doesn't handle it well. And I mean, and I brought it up yesterday too. It's like, and this is one of the reasons why I have obviously my issues with LeBron is that he doesn't wait to self-congratulate himself. He'll sit here and wait, for a tweet to come out congratulating him or praising him, and he'll just be humble about it once in your life. And just, and here's the thing, the people that prop LeBron and want LeBron to be the greatest ever want him so bad to be what Tom Brady is. And I know I'm bringing it into football, but it's such a great comparison in my mind.
It is.
Because they want him to be this incredible teammate who has all these championships, who overcomes and is a clutch player in all the best moments. And it's just not LeBron. I mean, he's had his moments. Again, we're not taking that away from him, but
not at all.
A lot of players have had their moments. They just haven't to be propped up as the greatest basketball player of all time. And that's when you start to poke holes in this silly notion that he is.
Yep.
And again, the way people speak about LeBron, it's not just fans, it's the national media. They speak about him like he's Tom Brady, because everything they say or think he is, Tom Brady is. And LeBron is just not that. I mean, he's not the best teammate. I mean, he hasn't performed at the highest level every single time he's out there. Yes, Brady's had some bad Super Bowls or he's had some bad moments in the playoffs, but more often than not, he's coming through and he's been that clutch 3-pointer, quote unquote, or, he's not passing up an opportunity. They're putting the game on his shoulders and he takes it and he elevates his teammates. Talk about going through a progression. After the initial run where they won their first 3 Super Bowls and you had that 10-year gap of basically going through 2 or 3 different offensive philosophies on top of overturning the entire defense from an incredibly old unit to a up and coming new group of guys that weren't so good, but all the time. It's like if the Patriots didn't have Tom Brady in this offense, they'd be the Detroit Lions. What we see now, and that's not a knock on the Lions, because they have a really good offense. But this is the difference between Tom Brady and Matt Stafford. And people are the Patriots always had this great defense. Well, no, they really. This year it has been great, yes, but Brady's elevated his teammates, and the offense has had to carry that load for quite some time, and they've gone to Super Bowls and won Super Bowls because of it. I don't see that from LeBron. He doesn't elevate his teammates. He elevates really good players because they're really good players. That doesn't take much. You got to elevate the other guys, the younger guys. You have to get guys that maybe it's not the most ideal, but you're still going to come through and deliver for your teammates and for your city or whatever. And I just, like I said, that's a huge difference for me between him and Brady and him and Jordan and all that. So,
and we bring up all of these great sport, Brady, Jordan, Bird, and you know how I feel when it comes to quarterbacks. There's 1A and 1A. Brady's 1A, and so is the fellow I grew up watching, Mr. Joe. Okay, you can make all the comparisons you want with those two. That's the only comparison where they are on even ground because of the impact they both had in their eras.
No, I agree. I mean, the only person I'll ever entertain a greatest of all time discussion with is Montana when it comes to Brady. Obviously, I lean Brady, and for obvious reasons. I mean, it is. I mean, there's no disagreement from my part, because these two guys, there's certain things you can't measure. Not every touchdown pass and yardage gained is created equal. I mean, Aaron Rodgers' stat line looked a whole hell of a lot better with that late garbage time touchdown and passing yards last week. Let's just put it that way. I'm sure there's a totally different story being told if he was doing what he was doing for most of that game, when it was actually within reach. So not everything's created equal. So that's where guys like Brady and Montana and elevate themselves to another level, because you can say all the things you want. It's like, oh well, he did this and in week 1 or in September or October. It's like, great. Do it in April. Do it in February. Do it, in the Super Bowl, in the NBA.
And LeBron hasn't done it yet. Okay, this is my opinion. I know you share it with me, and I know a few others do. I know a few others share the same opinion. In my feeling, in 16 years, now 17, LeBron hasn't done it yet. Not consistently.
Well, at least to the level that the greatest player in this sports history should have done it. And that's the biggest thing. We're not sitting here. I mean, if he was just, a generationally great player that didn't get, far above what he actually is, right, I don't think any of us would have a problem with it. You would celebrate LeBron and be like, look, what he's done is incredible. But when you start to cross that line and tell me, oh, he's the greatest basketball player of all time, the greatest teammate, all this other nonsense, that's where I take it. There's so much that he lacks when it comes to being that player that, I mean, to me, I feel like it's obvious, but it doesn't seem that way.
How these LeBron stands feel? They don't feel it's that obvious. And I'm going to bring up something.
Well, basketball started in 2010.
Exactly. Right. I'll bring up something else that a lot of people don't want to discuss. I still get the question daily, how does LeBron compare to Jordan? How about fundamentally? How about the fact that Jordan can execute a crab dribble and not travel? How about the fact that Jordan actually developed a, wait for it, post game?
All while still being a very good defensive player.
All while being a defensive player of the year. And how about these accolades? I'll tell you 10 of something LeBron doesn't have. How about first team all defensive? MJ's got 10 of those.
Well, just take championships and defensive play out of it, then we can have a conversation.
Then we can have a conversation, right? Absolutely.
Isn't that how it works?
But it's the two things that MJ worked on. Okay, and Kenny Smith even said it. Kenny Smith was a teammate of his at North Carolina. What's one thing Michael Jordan worked on a lot? I'll give you 3. A jump shot, his post game, and his defense. He was dynamite in clutch situations, especially defensively.
and you know what? And you know what that characteristic trait that he shares with Tom Brady. I mean, you think about, and again, these are the things that, and we're not trying to sit there and say LeBron doesn't work to get better.
Right.
It just, again, it's when you're trying to elevate someone that they're not supposed to. It's the same thing we do when we talk about Aaron Rodgers. Like, we could appreciate how great of a quarterback he is if it wasn't for the fact that people are trying to, and again, forget about Tom Brady. I mean, elevate him above Joe Montana, Dan Marino, and so forth. You know, all these great quarterbacks that have accomplished more and played the game level like he has. I mean, it's ridiculous, and that's when you get to the point where you feel like, okay, now I got to really dissect and break down his game. And the same with LeBron. So again, if people had a more realistic view of what he was and who he was, this wouldn't be an issue. But again, you know, he's the king, and he's not ashamed to say it.
Yeah, he's not, but I will never acknowledge it. That's Ian Glendon, the man Full Press Coverage, one of our streaming partners. You can catch FPC Radio Live each morning, and hey, there'll be a few times the Snowman will make an appearance. I thank you, and I thank Full Press Coverage for streaming this show. We're back on FPC. I had to take a hiatus after I got married, but thank you for picking up the show. It's gotten it's gotten great results. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, and we're happy to have you, and we're glad we can create this solid block of morning programming here on Full Press Radio.
Yep, and hey, solid block of morning programming. You ain't gonna hear that on terrestrial radio anytime soon. Thanks a lot, my friend. Appreciate the time.
No problem. We'll talk soon.
Ian Glendon, the man in charge of Full Press Radio, and it's like you said, you won't hear that. You won't hear this solid block of programming anytime soon. You really won't. Hey, advertise with us. You can do so by calling 773-672-3208, or you can drop that email to snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. That's in the morning @gmail.com. Thanks to Ian Glendon for joining me this morning. I was originally scheduled to have Andy Dorf on during hour 2, but I think he's so excited to talk about a subject that a lot of people won't touch. He's on the line right now. This is my buddy Andy Dorf from Dorf on Sports. What's up, Dorf?
Hey, I thought 7:40 meant 7:40 my time. Maybe I'm incorrect, my friend. I don't know.
Well, I'm glad to have you on. I appreciate it.
Glad to be here, my friend. What's going on?
You said you posted something on Facebook, and I'm gonna give you the floor. I'm gonna set it up. When you talk about resting 7 games into an NBA season, that's not what you're paid to do, and that's not what the fans want to see. The floor is yours.
No, you know, it's kind of a shame. You know, we've grown very accustomed to letting ball players or in the arenas, on the football field, as well as allowing them to dictate and control how much money they're making these days. And under those circumstances, man, I would feel pretty terrible if I'm a player and I have the opportunity to go out and showcase my talents each and every night, or pretty close to that, and especially when they're on nationalized television. You know, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, Snowman. So I almost think it's one of those things where back in the day, look, I'm a little older. I'm in my mid-40s, almost 50 now, and I'm pretty passionate about the way that I talk about sports, but I'm also pretty passionate about the way that I grew up watching sports and seeing how it meant everything to Magic or Larry Bird,
yes,
or Michael to go out there and perform. And think about it, man. That actually, when I just thought, I'm thinking of this as I'm saying it to you. Think about how many times we saw the greatest player, at least in my lifetime so far. How many times did we see Michael Jordan play when he wasn't feeling well, when he had injuries? I'm sorry, but today's players, they're soft. They're weak, my friend. I don't know how else to say it.
Anybody remember the flu game from the 97 finals? He had the most horrible flu, and yet he dropped 38 points including the clinching 3 that got them not only game 5, but eventually spurred them to win game 6. Today's player, and I love following the NBA, don't get me wrong. You and I talk about it a lot on you. Same with mine. It ain't the same anymore, and I'm disappointed.
I'm right there with it. And it's one of those things where when does pride take over how much money you're making, and when does pride say to you, look, I got to go out there, I got to go compete against the best players in the NBA. And, when Giannis Antetokounmpo walks into your house, you've got to go out there and you've got to play. And I just, to me, man, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm old school, just like you, and I want to see guys earn their money. I want to see those guys earn their stripes, and I definitely don't want to see guys taking breaks 7 or 8 games into an NBA season. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. And quite frankly, let's blame who really deserves the blame on this one, man. I blame Greg Popovich. Think about how Greg Popovich went about things with load management for these guys. It just doesn't work, Snowman. And when you set that precedence, man, you set a bad example about how you are as a person. You have to hold yourself accountable. And when you have an 82-game season, there's an 82-game season.
Yep.
I think you show up for all those games.
You have to show up for all those games. And with some of the players that you and I both watched back in the day, they showed up for all 82 games. They could be tired. They could be sick. But they're like, okay, we got a game on the schedule. Let's go play it and let's go win it. Today's NBA is as soft as my daughter's pillow compared to the game that we watched back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, it's one of those things where if you let it rub you the wrong way, it's gonna rub you the wrong way. And again, you and I, we're from a different school, man. We're not from this new school. We're not from the time when, hey, I'm going out there and I want to make as much money as I can, but yet I don't want to go out there and really earn it. So I have a lot of problems with today's athlete, and this is just one of those deals where if you're an NBA fan, you've got to realize that potentially some of those big stars are not going to be performing when they come to your town. And here's where it really bothers me. For example, in the case where we had in LA with the Bucks and the Clippers, Milwaukee only goes to play the Clippers one time.
Yep.
So if Giannis doesn't play that game, then the LA Clipper fans are pretty upset, right?
Mm-hmm.
But throw it the other way, because you're a Clipper fan and they're coming to your house, you're willing to this load management thing for Kawhi Leonard. And I'll tell you what, man, it rubs me so wrong, man. I've had to think about this for a few days, and I'm almost ready to start calling him Kiwi Leonard. No more Kawhi, but Kiwi Leonard, okay?
and deserved. And very deserved. When I saw that post, I knew you on the show to discuss that very thing. And these fans today and players today, like you said, are from the era that you and I grew up watching hoops. If you had a game on the schedule, you suited up and played it, period.
I think guys just had too much pride, Snowman. It's like I never saw Magic Johnson shy away from playing Larry Bird or Isaiah Thomas. I mean, it just didn't happen. It's a different era. It's a different time. And unfortunately, the players have way more control than they've ever had in any sport for that matter. So ultimately, I think we reap what we sow. And if you're going to let the inmates run the asylum, then this is what's going to happen more often than not.
Andy Dorf joining me here. He of the Dorf on Sports Weekend Edition fame. I appear on that show, and it's so much fun to do that show with you. It's great when you hop on here as well. Man, I love having you on. You're a brother. I love you, and thank you.
Hey, and obviously, I've got a local show, too, in Phoenix that people can check out. They can check that on pulseradio.fm. And then, obviously, like you said, we've got the national show that you are definitely a part of on Sunday mornings. That's 8 to 10 a.m. Pacific. Catch that on Sirius XM channel 211. So Snowman hangs out with me. We talk NFL football. We talk just about anything, brother. But usually on that one, it's NFL football.
It's all NFL. I had fun doing picks with you last week, and to get another shot at doing picks with you this Sunday.
Sounds like a plan, man. We'll definitely get you in on the picks for sure.
Right.
No doubt on that for sure. Have a great day. I appreciate you having me on as always, my friend.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate the time.
All right. Have a good day.
Wow. Wonderful guests in two wonderful segments. I was originally scheduled to take a break after Ian was on, but I got Dorf on. I got him in, and it's a fun time here on Snowman in the Morning. A very fun time. Advertise with us. You can drop an email to snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. That's snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. Or you can give a call to 773-672-3208. Take a pause, and when we come back after an extended break where you will hear some music, then I will talk some, because I have some thoughts now in rearranging everything for the second half of who's going to go where, why they're going to go there, and the Gold Gloves were handed out, which means the MVP is going to be handed out pretty soon. It means the Cy Youngs are going to be handed out pretty soon. I got my thoughts on who's going to do what, and around for hour 2 of Snowman in the Morning. An extended break and then some baseball chatter when y'all get back. Snowman in the Morning, back in a flash.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You've accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man!
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information, you gotta believe at yougotabelieve.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds, and most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to you who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
We rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full of someone who
had to be independent and take initiative, and that's how I handle every project I get.
Discover new ways to develop great talent at gradsoflife.org. Brought to you by Grads of Life and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the served by Meals on Wheels. As a volunteer, you deliver a hot, nutritious meal and a friendly hello to someone just like your mother, grandfather, or next-door neighbor. These seniors are inspiring people with incredible stories to share, and they love to see you. The smiles you get back are priceless. Delivering with Meals on Wheels is easy, and you don't have to drive like me for it to be quick. You can volunteer your lunch break once a week or just once a month. With 1 in 6 seniors facing hunger and many more living in isolation, your lunch break can make a real difference. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Some energy drinks want to scare you. Some even want to bully you around. And the others, they're just blowing smoke. Packed with vitamins B3, B5, B6, and B12, the new HiQ energy drink comes available in 4 flavors. Skyberry Fusion, Apple, Fruit Punch, and Lemon Lime. Natural caffeine, no preservatives, no crash, no bull. HiQ energy drink. Wings are for birds.
This is Snowman in the Morning, where true sports talk lives.
That's excellent. What?
The phone lines are open for hour 2. Ring in at 773-672-3208. Catch the show on Arena Sportsnet, Full Press Radio, KSRN Arizona, as well as Western Reserve Digital Radio. If you're watching, you can use the videos on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. You just heard the call-in number. Snowman in the morning at gmail.com. That's snowman in the morning at gmail.com. Offer your suggestions or you can advertise. Hour 2, and glad to have you with us. Let's talk a little baseball, shall we? The gold gloves were handed out, and I'm going to go around the horn and tell you, if you haven't seen already, who won the gold glove at each position. We'll start with the American League, and we'll start at first base, and it's Matt Olson, Oakland Athletics. He's won the award at first base in each of his first 2 full seasons, and the 25-year-old again led all first basemen in defensive runs saved, recording 13 of them after tallying them last year. He also had a career best 36 home runs. The runners-up were Yuli Gurriel of the American League champion Houston Astros and Justin Smoke of the Toronto Blue Jays. Anthony Rizzo of the Chicago Cubs takes the National League honor, and he has been very steady at first base. Yes, I pick on Cub fans a lot, but he has been very steady at first base. They got a good one with him. Christian Walker of Arizona and Paul Goldschmidt of St. Louis were the runners-up. The American League winner at second base has me excited because it's from my beloved White Sox, and it's Yomer Hunt is going to be a good one. He earned his first career Gold Glove after a stellar season in the field. He led all second basemen in ultimate zone rating and defensive runs above average. He also made 116 out-of-zone plays. Fantastic. 37 more than any other American League second baseman. Jose Altuve and DJ LeMahieu were the runners. Colton Wong takes the second base honor in St. Louis. By nearly every metric, he was the best second baseman. Ozzy Albies of Atlanta, Adam Frazier of Pittsburgh were the runners-up. Francisco Lindor takes the American League Gold Glove at short. Marcus Semien and Andrelton Simmons of Oakland and the Angels were the runners-up. He's claimed his second career Gold Glove since coming, with the other coming in 2016. Andrelton Simmons the last 2 seasons. National League winner Nick Ahmed of Arizona. He won his second consecutive Gold Glove after another all-around season for the Diamondbacks. Paul DeJong and Trevor Story, the runners-up. Third baseman, Gold Glove for the American League, was Matt Chapman of the Oakland Athletics, winning his second consecutive award. The runners-up were Alex Bregman, who I believe is going to be the American League MVP, and David Houston and David Fletcher of Los Angeles. And what do you know? Nolan Arenado wins another Gold Glove for the National League at third base, his 7th consecutive Gold Glove. He's led all third basemen in ultimate zone rating, but his 10.3 mark was 3 times better than any player at the position. I've loved Nolan Arenado since he's come into the league. He makes some of the most ridiculous plays look routine. Arenado's 7 Gold Gloves are 4th most by any third baseman in American League history, trailing only Brooks Robinson with 16, Mike Schmidt with 10, and Scott Rowland with 8. And I think Arenado will get 8 next year. Anthony Rendon of Josh Donaldson of Atlanta were the runners-up. Alex Gordon in left field for Kansas City takes the American League Gold Glove. He took home his 7th Gold Glove award, second most in Royals history behind Frank White, who won. He messed that up. He's played 1,260 innings. He played 1,260 innings in left, second most in the majors this year, behind Juan Soto. At 35, Gordon is the oldest outfielder to win a Gold Glove since Ichiro did it in 2010. Your runner were Robbie Grossman and Andrew Benintendi from Boston. David Peralta takes the honor for the National League. He also won his first career Silver Slugger Award last year. His defense, rounding into shape, it netted him a Gold Glove. The runners-up Soto of the world champion Washington Nationals and Hunter Renfroe of San Diego. Kevin Kiermaier was the runaway winner in center field for the Gold Glove. He won Gold Gloves in 15 and 16, and now is adding a third to his name. Mike Trout and Jackie Bradley Jr., wow, were runners up for the Gold Glove. Lorenzo Cain in Milwaukee takes the center field award in the National League. He has been one of the best defensive center fielders since he appeared in the majors. Until now, he never had won a Gold Glove until now. The 10-year veteran took home his first career Gold Glove after finishing third among all outfielders with 14 outs above average. He set the tone for his award-winning season early, making a game-saving home run robbery to end Milwaukee's opening home day victory. Victor Robles of the Nationals and St. Louis were the runners-up. Last but not least, we're in right field. Mookie Betts gets the honor in Boston. He earns his 4th straight Gold Glove. He finished among all AL outfielders and tied for 10th in Major League Baseball with 15 defensive runners saved. in 2019. He's recorded 8 defensive runners saved since the start of 16, topping the next closest player, which is Simmons, by 13. Cole Calhoun of the Angels, Josh Reddick of Houston were the runners-up. Last but not least, Cody Bellinger. Congratulations to him. Gets the honors in right field for his Gold Glove for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Though often overshadowed by his prowess at the plate, Bellinger wasn't too shabby in the field this season either. The MVP award candidate, 19 defensive runners saved, tied with the Yankees' Aaron Judge for most among right fielders in the majors. The 2017 of the year can now add his first career Gold Glove to his case. Runners-up, Bryce Harper and Jason Hayward. And we got to go behind the plate. Roberto Perez for the American League wins his first career Gold Glove for Cleveland, and just the fourth by a catcher in franchise history, joining Sandy Alomar and Ray Fosse, who had a pair. Perez did not allow a pass ball in 2019, becoming the fourth catcher since 1930 to catch as many games as he did without allowing a pass ball. He led all Major League catchers in defensive runners saved with 29. Christian Vasquez and Danny Jansen were the runners-up. And for the National League, it's JT Realmuto of the Philadelphia Phillies, his first career Gold Glove to his mantle. Austin Hedges of San Diego and the old man Yadier Molina from St. Louis were the runners-up. Mike Leake takes the pitcher's Gold Glove for Seattle and Arizona. Leake was traded to the Diamondbacks at the trade deadline, but did enough in the American League to win the Gold Glove award. Runners-up were Jose Berrios of Minnesota and Lucas Giolito of the White Sox. I think will become another Mark Burley and win several Gold Gloves at the pitcher position. He also was traded at the deadline. He did enough in Arizona to win the award. Greinke, who qualified for the National League award by racking up 146 innings with Arizona, became the third National League pitcher to win at least 6 consecutive Gold Gloves, joining Bob Gibson from 65 to 73 and Greg Maddux from 1990 to 2002. So congratulations to all of the Gold Glove winners. And that's our base morning. Lines are open, but we're going to take a break first, and then I'll open them back up. Whew. I got to take a breath. Got to take a breath. You would think I'd learned that by now. I'll talk with the fans, and then I'll talk some more basketball. The lines will be open when y'all get back. Remember to catch the podcast every day, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, on your favorite listening app. Back in a flash.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You've accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly and things up a centimeter from her hairline.
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information, contact You Gotta Believe at yougottabelieve.org. Service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Some energy drinks want to scare you. Some even want to bully you around. And the others, they're just blowing smoke. Packed with vitamins B3, B5, B6, and B12, the new HiQ energy drink comes available in 4 exciting flavors. Skyberry Fusion, Apple, Coconut Fruit Punch, and Lemon Lime. Natural caffeine, no preservatives, no crack, no bull. HiQ energy drink. Wings are for birds.
This is Snowman in the Morning, where true sports talk lives.
Excellent.
Don't forget, you can catch the replay on your favorite app beginning at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. You catch me every morning live on Arena Sportsnet, Full Press Radio, KSRN Arizona, and Western Reserve Digital Radio. Can you believe it? Yep, it's the 7th of November. Where has the time gone? It has flown by. It has absolutely flown by. Listen, I have a little unfinished business. And even though I had a great conversation with Michael Lyle last week about the Washington Nationals winning the World Series, I never got a chance to put my own epitaph on it and on the Washington Nationals. And I knew they would be in contention for a wild card even after a 19-31 start. But I want to take y'all back to Game 5 of the division series against a heavyweight in the Los Angeles Dodgers. Why am I going back there? Well, like I said, I never got a chance to put my own epitaph on the season and the series. But we go to the 7th inning with the Nationals trailing 3-0, and Juan Soto says, okay, let's change that.
Here's the 1-2 delivery. Swing a line drive right field. That's a base hit toward the line. Rendon being waved in. Peterson throws it in toward the plate, and it is not in time. Rendon scores standing on an RBI single for Juan Soto. The Nationals are on the board here in Game 5. Juan Soto drives in his 3rd run of the division series. It's now Los Angeles 1.
And then the Dodgers made a fatal call to bring Clayton Kershaw out of the bullpen for the inning. Well, Anthony Rendon says, hello, Clayton. Goodbye, Clayton.
Kershaw's 1-0 to Rendon. Swung on, hit of the air to deep left center field. Taylor going back. Warning track at the wall. He leaps. It is gone. Goodbye. Bangs. Rendon on the second pitch from Clayton Kershaw. And this is now a 1-run game here in the top of the 8th inning. Rendon with his first home run of the Dodgers 3 and the Nationals 2 with nobody out here at the top of the 8th inning.
But then Juan Soto, the phenom, says, wait a minute. Hey, we're run down.
Here's the pitch. He swings and belts one to deep right center field. Way back. Going, and gone. Goodbye. Halfway to the pavilion. Tremendous game. Tying home run by Juan Soto.
That made the score 3-3. Stayed that way until the 10th inning. And Joe Kelly was pitching. He loaded with nobody out and had to face a fellow who was struggling in Howie Kendrick. So Kelly gets ahead of Kendrick, 1 strike, and you figure, okay, Kelly's going to settle down. But then Howie Kendrick did this.
Kelly's 1-strike pitch. Swinging a fly ball, center field deep. Bellinger going back to the warning track, to the wall. It's a grand slam. Howie Kendrick has done it. They're going crazy. Nationals dugout. Howie Kendrick with a grand slam here in the 10th inning of Game 5. The Nationals 7, the Dodgers 3. Do you believe it?
That was the final score, and it sent the Nationals on their way. They swept St. Louis in the National League Championship Series and then got to the World Series where they took the first 2, lost the next 3 at home. Won Game 6 thanks to an outstanding performance by Steven Strasburg, who opted out of his contract and is now a free agent, but I got the feeling he's going to stay put. More on that in a moment. But then we get to Game 7. 2-0 in favor of the Houston Astros. You think the Astros are going to cruise, especially with the way Zach Greinke is pitching. They pull Greinke, and then Anthony Rendon starts the entourage.
Greinke delivers. Swinging a long drive to left. Way back. Forget about it. It is going, and long gone into the Crawford boxes, and the Nationals are on the board. Anthony Rendon has his 2nd home run in the World Series. It's now the Astros 2 and the Nationals 1.
Well, they pulled Greinke after that particular pitch. Later on, Howie Kendrick comes up with a man aboard in the 7th inning.
No balls. Outside target, Chirinos the pitch. Swinging a line drive, slice down the right field line toward the corner. Springer back, looking up, and this one is gone. It hits the foul pole, and the Nationals lead. Howie Kendrick has done it again. A slicing two-run homer off the foul pole. Do you believe it, Howie Kendrick? Part 2. Nationals 3 and the Astros 2.
And they went crazy in the dugout, and you had the feeling after Kendrick hit that home run that was game, set, match. But Juan Soto says, let me add a little something to that.
Here's the pitch. Swinging a line drive, base hit to a line. Eaton rounding third. He's on his way to the plate. The right fielder Springer up with it. To second. Eaton slides across the plate anyway without a play. It's a single to right for Juan Soto to give the Nationals a 2-run lead here in the top of the 8th inning. He drives in his 7th run of the series with his 2nd hit of the night. A walk, a big stolen base, and a 2-out RBI single for Soto. Here with 2 out of the top of the 8th, it's now the Nationals 4 and the Astros 2.
Stayed that way to the top of the 9th, and then one of my favorite players, Adam Eaton, decided the cake.
Here's the set of the pitch. Swinging a line drive, base hit center field for Eaton. Scoring from third is Gomes. They place breaks for the plate. The throw will go into the shortstop, Correa. 2-run score on the play and a base hit up the middle for Adam Eaton. With Gomes scoring on the base hit, they stopped Robles at third, but the ball missed by Maristic, bobbled in center, and then Robles comes in to score. Over to third of the play is Trey Turner. 2 runs home on the play, on the hit by Eaton. It's now the Nationals 6 and the Astros 2. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable indeed. And if you missed the final out call by Charlie, I'm going to work my ass off to get him and Dave Jagler on the show to talk about this. If you're a Nationals fan like I and Mike Lyle and a few others, and Lyle's been a supporter of the Nats since 2005 when they arrived in Washington, then here are the most exciting 84 seconds you will ever hear in Nationals history.
As the Nationals are a strike away from franchise history and some World Series history. As Hudson tries to close it out. It'll be another 3-2 pitch to Michael Brantley. Hudson sets. The kick in, here it comes. Swing and a miss! Swing and a miss! Swing and a miss! And World Series Game 7 winning Curly W is in the books. The celebration is on. The Washington Nationals are the world champions. Remember where you are, so you remember where you are right now at 11:50 Eastern Time. Remember where you are on October 3rd, 2019, when the Washington Nationals finished the fight from the depths of a forgettable 19-31 start. They have climbed to the top of baseball's highest peak, giving us all a finish to a season we will remember for the rest of our lives. The Nationals celebrate just behind the pitcher's mound. A world championship Curly W is in the books. The Nationals down 2-0. Some unanswered runs. They beat the Astros 6-2. They are the world champions of baseball. Unbelievable.
And I don't think they're done. Yeah, they have a couple of free agent decisions to make, but I think they're going to make them, and they're going to come back even stronger next year. I have a feeling, and I know this is way, way early. I know this is way, way early, but I think the Nationals and the Astros are not done. I think they're going to meet again. Max Scherzer gave credit to his wife for helping him through a difficult time.
Wanted to fight for my teammates. Everybody would have, for me, and I got to give credit to my wife. Man, I was in a bad spot when I woke up that morning. And, she when I wasn't feeling too well, she just said, she saw I couldn't raise my elbow above my arm. I was in a bad spot. She said, just get healthy and go pitch Game 7.
And pitch Game 7, he did. The fans reacted to the final out. Dave Martinez said the best thing. We stayed in the fight. We won the fight. Fight's over. The Nationals are the world champions. Talk about bringing the title to D.C.
Come a long way. DC's like home now, and, to bring back to there is just an unbelievable feeling.
Unbelievable feeling indeed. The Washington Nationals are the world champions. That puts a wrap on the Major League Baseball season. Now we wait for free agency and the folks to make their moves that they're going to make. But I borrow the words of one Charlie Slows. Remember who you are, so you remember where you were. I was at work when the final out happened, but after hearing after hearing that Kendrick hit that home run in the 7th inning of Game 7, how about that? I said game, set, match after he hit that home run. I said game, set, match after he hit that home run. And when you know it was Howie Kendrick. And you get that feeling with certain players. Howie Kendrick was a player for me after what he did against Joe Kelly in Game 5 of the division series. After he hit that home run, after he hit that grand slam in Game 5 of the division series, it was on after that for the Washington Nationals. It was game, set, match. And they are the world champions. To borrow from Dave Jagler, do you believe it? I certainly don't. And I certainly do. No one gave him a chance after starting the game, after starting the season. 19-1. They won 93 games, got into the playoffs, and I got another big hit for you. The hit against Milwaukee that cleared the bases in the 8th inning by Juan Soto. And one big error by the Brewers sent the Nationals on their way. If that hit doesn't happen, Kendrick doesn't hit his slam, they don't sweep the Cardinals, and it's Milwaukee we're probably talking about. So congratulations to the Washington Nationals, Major League Baseball's world champions. Gonna pause for a break, and when y'all get back, I got some more stuff for you. There's a team in the Eastern Conference in the NBA that you need to watch, and it ain't who you think. I have a surprise for you guys. A very, very big surprise. Don't forget, you can catch me every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Radio, your favorite app, and also YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live. Coming up, I got a surprise with the Eastern Conference of the NBA, and I'm going to work some hockey and some college basketball into the show as well, and I got some plans to tell you about. You can catch the podcast at 3 p.m. every day on your favorite listening app. Flash.
Carolina Security Consultants is your residential security consultants leader. Our security assessment is custom tailored for each project. Give Danny a call, 336-312-5326.
Listen and imagine. It takes 5 seconds to send a text, and for those 5 seconds, you're driving blind. Life is worth more than a text. Stay alive. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults in America have prediabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Years 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living Ben has mama. In other words, my mom has been we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Bet he can't say that in reverse.
This show is sponsored by Unforgettables. Unforgettables creates detail for every baseball fan. Check them out at unforgettables.com.
Excuse me, I know you have a 9 o'clock, so this short. I'm the business suit in the back of your closet. You wore me nearly every day before your office went, quote, casual. I used to be the CEO of your closet. Now I'm just that one intern no one ever talks to. I always thought you'd circle back with me. Get granular. Keep me in the pipeline. McKittrick presentation. You spilled coffee on me, and I still looked amazing during the breakout talkback Q&A. So, I think it's time for me to move on. I've got a great resume, and I absolutely crush it in interviews, okay? Let's make this a clean break. Shift the paradigm. The only is that you think outside the box here and do this. Take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create new jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
This is Snowman in the Morning, where true sports talk lives.
Thanks a lot, Doc.
Next! I'm on your favorite app ears every morning at 9 a.m. live. Check us out on Arena Sports Net station, our co-flagship full press coverage, KSRN Arizona and Western Radio. And if you want to advertise during this here program, drop an email to snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. That's snowmaninthemorning@gmail.com. Or you call 773-672-3208. We're in the process of changing some around, and we're going to get it all together. So by the time January gets here, you'll see a more fluid production of this show. Now, I got a question of the day, and I didn't get a chance to get because my schedule was thrown all the way off, and that's fine. But, you know, I haven't talked old school video games on this show in a long, long time, and I'm going to do that right now with a couple minutes I have before I'm going to go to another break. But if you could bring back one or two of your favorite old school games, what would they be? That's our question of the day. If you could bring back one or two of your favorite old school games, what would it be? You know what one of mine is? This show for the past 6 years. I can't believe it's been 6 seasons. You all have been terrific. If anybody that has listened to this show for the past 6 years, you know what game or what's the first game I'd bring back. And I'd do it in a heartbeat. Of course, it's Pac-Man. And I got plenty more that I want to bring back. But yeah. Kind of makes you wish there were arcades again. Whoops. Now that is right. That's a question of the day. If you could bring back an old school game or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10, what would you bring back? And I think that's my cue. I got to go to another break. I'll have this and a little music take you all into the break, and one more segment for you. I said I would talk about a team that is going to make some noise in the Eastern Conference. And after what I saw last night, do not be surprised. A little old school Pac-Man and some NBA on CBS to take us to a break, and then we'll finish things up. So
Some energy drinks want to scare you. Some even want to bully you around. And the others, they're just blowing smoke. Packed with vitamins B3, B5, B6, and B12, new HiQ energy drink comes available in 4 exciting flavors. Skyberry Fusion, Apple, Coconut Fruit Punch, Lemon Lime, natural caffeine, no preservatives, no crash, no bull. HiQ energy drink. Wings are for birds.
Hey boys and girls, I have a question for you. What are you doing listening to the Talking Heads? Turn on Snowman in the morning for real sports talk. He has the hot takes that will make you.
Down the stretch we come on this tripped out Thursday edition of Snowman in the Morning. On on me so much. She's like, you got to lay it out this way. And then I get some friends sending me, hey, use this clock. And then she sees it. And, of course, her brain turning upside down. And she says, okay, this is where you can put everything. This is where you need to put this here. Make sure you have this. Make sure you have this. And all I'm doing is just sitting there listening. Like, okay, I see how that goes. I see how that goes. I see how this can work. And I want to thank everybody that is involved with the show to help put it together. Now, one more sports note before we close up shop for the day. And a lot of people that are supposed NBA fans are not going to believe me when I tell you this. But after the game I saw last night in Atlanta, I believe the Chicago Bulls are going to get a playoff spot. Now, there's a long way to go. Now, I understand that. They got 3 wins on the season. We don't know how it's going to play out, but after nearly closing out the Lakers, and they should have, people, here's where I'll start with this. The Bulls had a 13-point lead against LeBron James and the Lakers. I just got the finger pointed at me. Now, you need to be nice. All right. Like I said, they had a 13-point lead against LeBron James and the Lakers. And now she's laughing. And they couldn't close them out. And the Twitterverse went nuts, saying, LeBron James is... Yeah, right. It's just a case of a young team that could not close against a big-time opponent. They'll get another shot in Los Angeles later this year. But this is a complete team in the making. Thomas Satoransky is their point guard. Otto Porter Jr. out with an injury right now. But 13 points, 4 rebounds. Lauri Markkanen had 17 points. Zach LaVine only had 10 last night in 30 minutes. But Satoransky was the hot hand with 27 points and 7 rebounds. I really still believe Kobe White's going to be the point guard of the future for the Chicago Bulls. And they played a complete game. 50% from the field shooting-wise. They only hit 18 of 27 from the free throw line. They hit 13 goals. But they have a potential that's there that no one else wants to see. And they drubbed Atlanta last night. A lot of people think Atlanta's going to be the team that'll get that final spot. And maybe. But I think the Bulls are going to be in contention. You got Markkanen, Kobe White, Chris Dunn, who's still with the Bulls, by the way. A lot of people think he should be traded. I think he should stay put. Thomas Satoransky, terrific last night. Absolutely terrific. The way he distributed the ball, ran the offense. He may be the point guard for now. I still think, as I said, Kobe White's going to be their point guard for the future. But be that as it may, the Bulls are going to be a tough out this season. And not only that, I think they're going to nab one of the 8 playoff spots. It may be 7, it may be 8, you don't know. They haven't made the playoffs in 2 years. But it hasn't been that long of a drought. This is a very young team that's going to find their way throughout the course of the season. And I believe that's to get a playoff spot. Not only do I believe that the Bulls are going to get a playoff spot in the East, and given the way this season has started for this team that I'm going to speak about, you may not think this is going to happen, but when everybody gets back, I think the Golden State Warriors are going to be a playoff contender. They're dealing with a ton of injuries right now, including to their 3 key players, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, who was probably going to miss this entire season. Will he try it in the playoffs? We don't know, but nothing is ruled out as of yet as far as Klay Thompson is concerned. Draymond Green out with a finger injury. They're trotting players on the floor. The Warriors only have 10 healthy players right now, and they're giving their all. They lost to Houston last night to drop to 2-6 on the year. They got their first win in the center, be a playoff contender this year. But the Warriors are going to be right there in the thick of things when everybody gets back. As my buddy Cole Johnson says all the time, the straw that stirs the drink wears number 30, and that straw's not there right now. He's out for 3 months with a broken hand. Okay, and it wasn't anything malicious. Aaron Baines inadvertently fell on him, and it broke Steph Curry's hand. But don't sell this Warrior team short. You may not know some of the faces that are there right now, save maybe D'Angelo Russell and Willie Cauley-Stein. And Russell is dealing with an injury. Cauley-Stein's dealing with injuries all over the place. People want to call it karma. Better not do that, because karma can come and bite you if you sell this Warrior team short. And that's it. They want the Warriors to fail and not make the playoffs so they can rejoice and say, hallelujah, we don't have to worry about this year. Not so fast, my friend. The Warriors are still the Warriors. They are still the defending 5-time Western Conference champions. Are they having tough sledding? You bet. But it's November. It's not April. And just like the We Believe team in 2000, they found their way into the playoffs as an 8 seed. As a matter of fact, they clinched on the final day of the year. And you know it, they take down the top-seeded Dallas Mavericks in round 1, becoming the first 8 seed to take down a 1 seed in a best-of-7 opening round series. As a matter of fact, you know what? I hope they do it again. Whoever the top seed is, sneak in as a 7 or an 8. I hope they take down the top seed again. So to prove they get to the championship this year, highly doubt it. Highly doubt it. I just hope they take down the top seed again. And you know what I'm really hoping? Do I expect this to happen? No, after what I said earlier in the program. I hope the Lakers somehow nab the top seed, and I'm being totally facetious here. I hope the Lakers nab the top seed and Golden State takes them down. How about that? How about that as the ultimate is LeBron stance? Do I expect it to happen? No. Is it wishful thinking? Hell yeah, it is. But we'll have to see how everything shakes out in April. I know that. Y'all know that. But wouldn't it be poetic justice if the Warriors snatched the 8 spot and took down either the Lakers or the Clippers in the first round, and they were the 2 top seeds? That would be such poetic justice for me as a fan. As an analyst, I ain't so sure that's going to happen. All right, let me just be totally real with you guys. As a fan, I'm licking my chops for it to happen. As an analyst, I'm not so sure, because the conference is so stacked this year. And I can't leave out my buddy Bill Schoening and the San Antonio Spurs. I wish they had beaten the Lakers a week ago. And I think the Lakers beat them in Texas. That's okay. Lakers have to return to Texas. They have to return to Texas and try to beat them again. I don't think they will. And for the first time today, I can say, that's Snowman. What's yours? It's a wild one, but hey, it works. One more break, and then we'll wrap it up. Back in a flash.
Carolina Security Consultants is your residential security consultants leader. Our security assessment is custom tailored for each project. Give Danny a call, 336-312-5326.
One in 3 adults in America have pre-diabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Years 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living Ben has mom my. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, Exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Bet he can't say that in reverse.
Open calendar. What's my schedule looking like?
Next Thursday, you will be caught in an emergency flash flood between Park and First Street.
What? No, that doesn't work. I'm busy then. Decline. Decline.
Floods don't exactly work around your schedule. Don't plan ahead, but you can. It starts with talking to your loved ones about making an emergency plan. So don't wait, communicate. Visit lacounty.gov/emergency. Brought to you by the Los Angeles County Office of Emergency Management, FEMA, and the Ad Council.
Man, do I love card night. You ready, boys? You got a king?
Go, fish dad.
Oh, come on. This is TV superstar Titus O'Neil. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today. At 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities. I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. As a volunteer, you deliver a hot, nutritious meal and a friendly hello to inspiring people with incredible stories to share. And they love to see you. The smiles you get back are priceless. Delivering with Meals on Wheels is easy, and you don't have to drive like me for it to be quick. You can volunteer your lunch break once a week or just once a month. With 1 in 6 seniors facing hunger and many more living in isolation, your lunch break can make a real difference. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You've accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man!
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da!
I kind of love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information, contact You Gotta Believe at yougottabelieve.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is Snowman in the Morning, where true sports talk lives.
That's excellent. What?
I want to thank some people for coming on this morning. Ian Glendon and Andy Dorf, both during hour 1. Thank you to my wonderful producer, Shane Lake, and also to my lovely and beloved engineer, Dr. K, turning all the dials, making sure everything works properly and is in proper form. You can catch me every day, every weekday, 9 a.m. on Arena Sportsnet, Full Press Radio, as well as Western Reserve Digital Radio and KSRN Arizona. And now some final words to send you on your way. Don't give up on what you're doing. It's so easy at times when you face adversity, Lord knows I've been there, to just say, screw it, I can't do this. Yeah, you can. I've had to learn that lesson myself very painfully over and over and over again. And you know what? Best lesson I could have ever learned. Best lesson ever. You got to keep going, especially when it concerns what you love to do, and especially when it concerns the people that you love. You can't give up on something you are passionate about. You can't give up on something that you hold near and dear to you. And there are quite a few things in my life that I hold near and dear to me. So take this with you throughout the course of the day. Don't give up on something that you love to do. Don't give up on someone that you love. And don't give up on something that or someone that makes you happy. You'll regret it later. I've had many of those in my life, and I've washed them all away with where I'm going right now. That's going to do it for this edition of Snowman in the Morning. I will see y'all tomorrow. Join the email list, snowmanunfiltered.com/join us. Till tomorrow, have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, then they are not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. I am, and I hope y'all are too. I'm out of here. See you tomorrow. Out.